Here's a brief but annoying message to let you know that you could have first heard this episode 9 months ago if you were a subscriber to our Iron Filing Society Patreon offering.
For the price of a pint and a St Clement's each month, you can get up to 4 episodes a week, 9 months before the rest of the world gets them. Early access to regular episodes, lots of other marvellous benefits, and there's absolutely no adverts or brief but annoying messages like this that will get right on your ticks.
Find out more and subscribe now at tftimemachine.com/ironfilings.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, this is it!
This is Top Flight Time Machine. I am Andy Hotbody Dawson. Pow, pow, pow.
I am Sam Nifty Delaney, so what?
Welcome along. We are once again delving deep into the history box and looking at the almost forgotten England tournament, which was Euro 1980, which was England's first tournament since 1970 Mexico World Cup. Loads of people remember World Cup 82 and 86. We didn't qualify for Euro 84. So the Euro 80s kind of just disappeared a little bit in history, and that's our job. That's our job, to delve in the history box and bring it back.
Yeah, my first Euros memory is 88, which when England were wiped out. Can't believe Bobby Robson held on to his job. These days you never would, because I think did we lose every game? I think we did. We lost to Ireland, then we lost to we got battered by the Dutch, but that was a great Dutch team that went on to win it with Gullit and Van Basten.
Oh, the Van Basten year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
he won the hat-trick in the final.
Yeah, and then we got beat by Soviet Union as well. Even the commies beat us. And so that was, but before that, I don't think I'd even had any knowledge of the Euros. But Europa 80, well, no, I'm just looking on the Wikipedia page, and there's a lovely tournament logo. It says UEFA 80, which is quite a familiar sort of logo with UEFA, the word written as like a flag, a waving flag. Brilliant. But that's really nice. But underneath, they've got this other one, Europa 80, where the sort of football has been made into a flower. Can you see that, Andy? It's really great. Yeah. I would love that on a T-shirt. I remember it really vividly.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
And I haven't seen it in so long. It's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's bloody brilliant. I tell you what, it's better than Chow. It took them 10 years to get another tournament when they got the World Cup, and they came up with fucking Chow, a stick man.
The thing that made it
a stick man whose name was blocks. Hello.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pathetic. So, yeah, and it was England's first tournament in 10 years, but it was kind of pushed into the annals of history because of all of the crowd violence from England fans over there in Italy. And I think that reflected on when Italia 90 came along, because England then got dumped onto the island of Sardinia, didn't they?
Yeah.
Where they couldn't escape.
They used to come down and look at the English fans getting off the boat like they'd bring their children down, right?
Yeah. Look at the animals.
Yeah, it was like that. And they go, I'm taking my, little fucking Luigi or whatever, I'm taking him down to the port. And my auntie went to this woman, why? What do you mean? She went, well, what do you mean why? We're going to see the hooligans. And she went, what?
Circus is in
she
town.
went, the hooligans are arriving today on the boat. And we're all going down, we're taking the children down, everyone wants to see them. Right, they didn't realise that my auntie was English, like originally English. She was like, yes, and I don't think there'll be that much to see. Oh yeah, they're all drunk and they all have their tops off and they're fat and they're sunburnt and they fall over
everywhere.
They fall over and they wee. It's really funny. It's really funny. We're all going to watch them. It's amazing. People said that to her.
So how far did we get? I think we got at the beginning of the tournament itself in England's group, which was pretty tough. They were in the group with Belgium, Italy and Spain. Belgium were the real deal back then, I remember. They had some good players. Italy, of course, are always good in tournaments. Not so much lately. Spain weren't as great as they are now, but they were solid. They were reliable. Quite violent. And, of course, Kevin Keegan wasn't at his best. He was exhausted, apparently, even though he claimed he wasn't.
I'm absolutely exhausted, Gene. I don't know if I'm going to get through these Euros.
His commercial commitments away from the game seem to be taking more and more of his time.
I've made that many advertisements. I've just been posing for that ice lolly they're making in the shape of my torso. That wasn't. I thought that'd be a quick job. I was in there for 3 days with those ice lolly designers looking at my naked body. I said to them, I don't see why I have to be fully nude. It's only going to be the upper part. And they said, no, we need to see the whole body in order to understand your full dimensions.
I said maybe you could just do one of me head. You know, make a lolly of your head, and you could get pubes from dead guys and stick them into the top of the lolly. They said, no, Kevin, it's a very specialist job. That's not going to work.
They said we don't want any pubes on our ice lollies. That'll get us into trouble with the regulatory boards. I said, it's just an idea. They'd do it in Germany.
Yeah, they do it in Germany in a flash. Belgium had qualified by winning a group that contained Scotland, Austria, Portugal and Norway. Norway, of course, were notoriously shit in the early 80s. I think they used to get beat 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-0 against everyone they played, but now they're brilliant. Which just goes to show.
Norway? Did you say?
Norway were crap.
Yeah, but you remember then in the 90s they became good by playing agricultural football, and they beat England a lot. And now they're back to being good because they got Odegaard and Haaland, yeah.
When that commentator gave it all the Maggie Thatcher,
yeah.
Sir Francis Chichester,
they've been a bête noire. Because they did that. That was the 70s, wasn't it? And then in the 90s, when they had Egil Olsen was their manager, who then went on to manage Wimbledon. He wore wellies.
Fella in the wellies.
Yeah, legend. Big fan of his. Turning up in his wellies, right? And he I like to look like Tom from The Good Life. And and they're in the Graham Taylor. They loom large over the Graham Taylor "Do I Not Like That" documentary, don't they?
That's right. Yeah. Do you know what Egil Olsen's nickname was?
No.
When he was a player, Drillo. Fucking hell.
Talking of nicknames, I believe, not sure, I believe this information may have come across your desk as well, Andy.
Okay.
But on the last episode, we were talking about, I quizzed you on the England squad, and one of the centre forwards in this team was Tony Woodcock of Arsenal and Cologne, was it, that he also played for?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
So one of our sources, and all I'd say is a highly placed source, right, said that Tony Woodcock's nickname in the England dressing room was Timber Dick, and he wasn't a fan. It came from, should we say the sources this came from? One of them's dead, so we can't be sued.
Yeah, you can't libel the dead.
This has come
bedrock of this podcast.
from two other members of the same squad, senior members, one of whom is the late, great Paul Mariner. So, but it's, Timber Dick, at first I read it and I didn't get the joke. I thought, maybe he was just one of these guys with a massive knob.
Yeah.
But it's not even, it's just like, wood, timber.
It's just changed
cock,
the
dick.
words.
I mean, it's just, it's like, some people used to call Fatima Whitbread lard in my bitter. Same sort of manoeuvre. Yeah.
I used to sit in front of at the Stadium of Light some let's call them terrace wags who always a joke and a laugh, and they used to call Nicky Summerby. They used to call him Winter Wasp. It's like winter is the summer. Winter is the opposite of summer, and a wasp is the opposite of a bee.
Yeah.
So there you go. One of that crowd may now be one of the senior writers in the football section of The Guardian.
Winter Wasp.
Or may not be.
Fucking hell. This sounds like Melchester stuff. Go on, Winter Wasp.
Yeah. So anyway, England's first game was against Belgium, and it kicked off at 4:45 on Thursday the 12th of June. That is... I know the World Cup in 82 had games that kicked off around about that time. I think they were 3:45 almost, or 4 p.m. But having that thing where you come home from school and there's a national football match about to start, that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
That's one of childhood's greatest feelings, that.
Yeah, I remember, I was talking to my mate about it the other day. We were, I think it was a qualifier for maybe 1990 World Cup. I think it was like the last qualifier we had to beat Yugoslavia to qualify for Italia 90, and it was kicking off at something like 4 in Yugoslavia.
Oh, brilliant.
Some of these foreign countries like strange times for their football.
Yeah.
Right.
And even then, when it's one of those, the picture's really grainy.
Yeah.
And the commentary's coming down the telephone line.
We ran home. We were like running home from school, and we did that thing. There was like a level crossing you needed to get across. And there was no bridge over it at the time. And you had to, if you missed the gates going up, you'd sometimes have to wait 15 minutes. You'd miss your train, you wouldn't get home. And we were fucking all day. We were like talking about this game. And when school ended, we ran to the train station and the gates went down. And it was the only time, and I've got no pride. I'm genuinely quite ashamed of saying this, but I'll admit it now, all these years later, because there's statute of limitations, I think.
Yeah,
but
Go on,
I climbed over the level crossing, mate, and it's one of the most stupid things you can do in life. And I fucking did it, and lots of kids did it all the time. And there was always stories once or twice a year someone's been fucking flattened. Right?
Did you never listen to those or watch those public information films?
I know. It was so stupid, and I wasn't the sort of kid who took like non-stop risks. Not at that age, I wasn't. But I just didn't want to miss this game, and we didn't even say anything. We were running, the gates closed, and as we were running, we just looked at each other, and we made fleeting eye contact, and we just knew we're both going over. It was like that scene in Butch Cassidy's Sundance Kid when they jump off the cliff together. It was like that. It's like we're going over, and if we die, we die in pursuit of a dream. The dream is to see England play Yugoslavia in a crucial World Cup qualifier.
But you made it.
We made it.
You hit Telltale. That's good.
And I think England won something like 4-1. It was like one of those ones where we thought it was going to be really close, tough game. All we have to do is get scraped by with a draw, and we end up battering them. I'll check that on Google, but not now.
Kicked off at 4:45. The BBC gave it a 10-minute build-up, unlike now when you get like 90 minutes. And not all of the games at the tournament were shown live in the UK, which is the Euro '84 was like that as well, because they only showed the semi-finals onwards because England hadn't qualified, neither had Scotland or Wales. And it was the year when France, and particularly Platini, totally bossed the tournament.
Oh, in '84, they looked so
84.
cool as well. If you look at pictures, it's one of the coolest looking football teams ever. Tigana, Platini, Gires, in these beautiful Adidas shirts. They looked the fucking business, and they were a brilliant team, weren't they?
All of the shirts were untucked. Nobody played with their shirts.
They sort of looked like cowboys.
Yeah.
Or no, they kind of look like the Rolling Stones, actually. Or like maybe the Doobie Brothers or something. You know, there was something kind of very rock and roll, slightly Californian about them.
Yeah. So this England game against Belgium. Sorry, I'm yawning slightly.
It's because we're talking about football, mate. It's natural.
England took the lead after 26 minutes. Ray Wilkins. Now, it's quite hard to find this goal online. There's a tweet that's got it in. That
someone sent it to us.
I think it was Nigel Adderley.
Oh, yeah.
Our commentator pal. And that's the best version of I've seen. The ones on YouTube are very, very poor quality.
What a goal.
But it's a fucking amazing goal. The ball comes through, I think it's headed out by the Belgian defence, and then Wilkins takes it, lobs it over the entire Belgian back line, who are just standing square. He just lobs it over them and dashes through. See you later, cunts. And then lobs it over the Belgian keeper without kind of breaking stride or anything into the back of the net. Incredible goal. Nigel Adderley sent us it, and I said on Twitter, it's one of them goals where afterwards you go out into the garden and you want to try and recreate it. You want to, I want to do that.
Yeah, exactly that. You just start.
And the other one I remember was the other one was Justin Fashionu's goal for Norwich against Liverpool.
Oh, he flicks it over with his back to goal, doesn't he? Yeah.
And he flicks it up and volleys it. Yeah. Just trying over and over again to replicate that in the backyard.
Jalapeño. Jalapeño.
When Nigel tweeted that, and a few people were commenting underneath, and the thing is, obviously I'm biased because I did become pally later in his life with Ray Wilkins. You know, we had a wonderful conversation about the majesty of water, and we did go out for a couple of nice Italian meals together, which are genuinely, without any irony, these are cherished memories. He was like one of the best guys I ever worked with or knew. So there is a bias, that's a disclaimer. But Ray Wilkins, there was two things that were unfortunate about him. One was he got labelled by Ron Atkinson as the crab, right? Which was one throwaway remark that somehow, because of the way Atkinson was, I'm sure he didn't mean to be a total cunt. He was being thoughtless, but it just got picked up on.
Yeah, no other examples of Ron Atkinson being a total cunt. Is there?
But the other thing is that he was in the same generation as both Brian Robson and Glenn Hoddle. And in many ways, Ray Wilkins combined the best traits of both. Right, he was a very industrious leader, a natural leader, right, with the personality of leader and the drive and the will to win and all the rest of it. And he had that fight and toughness that Robson had. But he also, unlike Robson, had craft and could pick out passes, long, short, like really clever passes, right, real vision, like Hoddle. But of course, he wasn't quite as good at passing as Hoddle, because I would say no one in the world was. And perhaps he wasn't quite the absolute leader Robson was, right? But he was unique in that he was a combination of the two players. And then you see a goal like that and it reminds you, this player was a fucking genius, right?
Yeah.
He was absolute fucking genius, Ray Wilkins. But sometimes you get all these players coming along at once. So, you know, it was like, I think in 86 he was still first pick before he famously got sent off against Morocco.
Got sent off, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember even when he was older, he played for Glasgow Rangers when they were very good in the 80s with Souness. And then he went to QPR and he was pretty old by the time he got to QPR. And he was fucking brilliant. He was in the top division in England.
I was going to say, wasn't this the first year of the Premier League?
Yeah, he was pushing 40, right? And he absolutely tore it up to the extent he hadn't played for England in 5 years or something. People were saying he's got to go back in the England team. Because he was about 40, but it was like Nat Goslin. Is it Nat Goslin or Nat Gosling in Roy the Rovers? He was like, but he just had vision and class on the ball. It was incredible. But anyway.
I was just watching him getting sent off there for England.
He threw the ball, didn't he?
Picks the ball and tries to throw it at the Moroccan player and it misses him and hits the ref.
Yeah. But even if it had hit the player, I mean, nowadays that's still a red card either way, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it just landed at the ref's feet. It wasn't hard or anything.
Yeah, I talked to him about it and he basically said the ref, he didn't use these words because he was a very polite man, but he basically was like, the ref was a cunt. He was just he was being a fucking... The ref was being a Lampard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we'll take that. Well, that was a brilliant goal in 1980. Have a look. Dig it out. We'll try and retweet it as well on our Twitter.
Yeah.
But then Belgium equalised 3 minutes later, and that was when everything went to shit. Of course, the hooliganism was a massive thing among England fans back then. The night before the match in Turin, police arrested 36 England supporters, and they were goaded by the Italian fans in the stadium when the Italian fans celebrated Belgium's equaliser. And the England fans kicked off. Riot squad moves in. Tear gas is fired into the England fans. Now this was the thing. I hadn't seen many England games. I was 8. We hadn't been in a tournament since 1970. This is our first match in a tournament. The build-up was incredible. It was like England are back. England are gonna win this tournament because they had such great players. And then it turned into fucking carnage. And you've got tear gas filling the sky. The England fans threw some of the tear gas canisters back towards the pitch, and Ray Wilkins was in goal. Not Ray Wilkins, Ray Clements, sorry.
Yeah.
Ray Clements was in goal, in the end where the England fans were. So Clements is fucking crying his eyes out with this tear gas.
Yeah.
Clements can't see.
He can't play on. I bet Schultz is fucking warming up on the touchline. Well, Ray's fucked. Look, he's blind. You're going to have to get me on. The thing is,
I
don't
think
worry
that's
about my
unfinished.
eyes. They're impervious to tear gas.
I have no emotions whatsoever, you see.
My tear
Yeah,
ducts,
no,
I
I think-
actually got them replaced. I got them replaced with artificial ones. That,
Plastic.
yeah, they only function. They function on a voice command by me, and there's no way I'm gonna command them to cry until the day my dear old Ma passes away. That's the only time. It's the only appropriate time for me to shed a tear.
So the game was delayed for ages. It finished eventually. I don't know if Shilton came on. I don't think he did. I think Clements.
Clements
got his
played
eyesight
on
back.
blind. It's all right. I'm playing on blind.
I'll play on.
I don't want that
Yeah.
cunt Schultz coming on.
Anything rather than him besting me. Fucking hell.
I reckon they still hate
afterwards-
each other, mate. Wait,
Do they still
Clements
hate each
isn't
other?
dead, is he?
Clements is it? Oh, he is.
He's fucking dead.
Clements died.
What do you reckon Shilton
Pretty sure.
was like on like
Yeah, he
that
died
day?
in 2020.
Fucking Shilton would have been like, aye, winner.
Yeah.
There
I
can
win.
be no doubt now. I am the victor.
He'll drop a single flower on Clemence's grave. That's for you, Ray. That's for you.
And some gloves.
You know what that means.
He'll be crying
got-
in heaven tonight, just like he cried at that game in Italia 80. That was the thing about Ray. He was a decent shot stopper, but he was one of life's criers. And for me, if you want to be regarded as a truly top class keeper, you can't, under any circumstances, have ever cried on the field of play. I'm sorry, but no.
So England drew 1-1 with Belgium. Tony Timberdick scored near the end, but it was ruled out for offside, so it finished 1-1. Ron Greenwood, England manager, was furious with the fans, and he said, "I'm proud of my profession, but when things like this happen, I'm ashamed of football. They are idiots, and we don't want anything to do with them. I wish they would all be put in a boat and dropped into the ocean."
Come on, fucking hell.
There's
Ron.
there's more. There's more. He says, "We are ashamed of people like this. We have done everything to create the right impression here. Then these bastards let you down." Whoa!
Ron! Fucking
Fucking
hell,
hell.
Ron. Calm it down a bit. Bastards. You're the England manager. You can't be... You're going down to their level with that kind of
He
potty
was-
mouthing.
He was backed up by his skipper, who of course is Kevin Keegan.
Yeah.
Kevin Keegan says, "I know 95% of our followers are great, but the rest are just drunks."
And our back, right?
Excellent.
Our back, Ron. They are bastards. There, I've said it.
Yeah.
And that's swearing.
I'll
That's swearing. Write that in your fucking notebooks.
I'll drive the boat. I will.
I'll
drop them off.
I'll happily drown them like a litter of unwanted kittens. I know how to do it too. Once I've thrown them overboard, if they try to get up, I'll push their heads down with one of them big brooms. You know, the type that caretakers use in schools. Because actually,
can buy
I've
them,
got
you
my
know.
own range of those coming out soon.
You could buy them for the home. They're not just the schools.
Anyone can own
I know
them. You
where you
don't
get
need a
them.
licence. A lot of people don't know that.
They think you do, but you don't.
You can use them for drowning people or sweeping up if someone has vomited but over a wide range of the floor. It's very handy. You cover
Vomiting
that
while
in
running.
sawdust. Sawdust is another thing you can use domestically if you choose to.
Aye.
Thanks, Kevin. I think we've got everything we need there. And that's on the BBC tonight, is it? Yeah. And we'll use my entire quote. We might have to remove the bits about the Brum because you said that you're in a commercial deal partnership with a Brum company. So it being the BBC, I'm afraid we might not be. Oh, for fuck's sake. Well,
God's
this is the
sake.
BBC all over. Rules, bureaucracy, fucking communists.
So England were fined £8,000. Yeah. It could have been a lot worse, really. FA chairman waded in as well, said it could have been a lot more serious for us. But it's a pity we'll have to pay for the actions of those sewer rats. Fucking
Sewer
hell.
rats. Fucking
Fuck
hell.
me.
So
So
I
England,
wish back in those days, And this is the sort of thing they did do in Italy. You know how in Italy they've got their ultras, their silly ultras, right? And they all go, but they are kind of they're a recognised official group. And they have like spokespeople on the board and shit like that.
They do, yeah.
And I think it should have been more like the situation maybe in Northern Ireland where you would hear from Jerry Adams, right? I mean, they dubbed a different voice on, obviously, but you could have done that with the hooligans. I think if all the the Blazers at the FA get to say all this stuff, like they're sewer rats, they're bastards, we want to drown them, right? That's all right, fine. But shouldn't they have right to reply? And you have like a hooligan, like the spokesperson for the hooligans, with his face pixelated or wearing a balaclava and a voice distorter, going, we as the England football hooligans,
Ultras,
we resent and strenuously deny all of the accusations that have been aimed at us. Other than, yes, we were drunk. Of course we were drunk. What else do you think we are doing here? We are drunk because we are following our country and having great time. Did we fight and destroy things? Yes, we did. Did we do that because we are sewer rats? No, we did it because we are patriots. We are young men trying to have a good time and support our country. You know, that's probably what they would have said, and I just think it's a bit unfair for it all to be one way. I'm not taking sides either.
There was no right to reply. These days, both sides get an airing, don't they?
Yeah, it's like even the global warming deniers get a say on the BBC now.
Yeah. So football hooligans are lower down on the rankings than
the conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. So that was 1-1 the first game, and then they got beat 1-0 by Italy in the second game. They managed to beat Spain 2-1 in the final group game, but it wasn't enough to finish top two, which would have got them into the final or the third place match. So once it was confirmed England would not be playing in the playoff, the BBC replaced live coverage of the match with the Tommy Steele film Half a Sixpence.
So that's a film I would like to see and deep dive.
Yeah. There's a great documentary about Tommy Steele a while ago.
Yeah.
On Sky Arts or something like that.
Yeah, he's worth knowing more about, isn't he?
Yeah, legend. And Euro 80 itself was hardly a rip-roaring success. It says attendances were low for matches not featuring Italy. Greece versus Czechoslovakia attracted 7,600 fans.
Yeah, it does
the final itself wasn't even a sellout. And in the end, West Germany won it, beating that Belgium team that we mentioned before. And West Germany, of course, they generally did that back then.
This was Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, wasn't it? That sort of era.
It will have been. I'm just seeing who scored for them in the groups. Rummenigge, yeah. Klaus Allofs got a hat-trick in a 3-2 game against the Netherlands.
Would Paul Breitner have been active in this period?
Breitner will have been active. That brings us back to Breitner. Breitner is a person of interest.
Breitner was one of the first ever persons of interest on this podcast.
Yeah. When we're still just doing football all the time.
Yeah, when we found out about him having his smoky sausages sent over from Germany when he signed for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Paul Breitner played a very crucial role in this podcast's evolution.
Also a devout revolutionary.
Yeah, we should revisit him at some point. I feel like there's more juice to be squeezed from the Breitner story.
Yeah, I can remember the final. It was 2-1 to Belgium, and Horst Hrubesch scored twice. 10th minute, penalty for Van der Eycken for Belgium on 75 minutes, and then Hrubesch made it 2-1 in the 88th minute. So that was it. That's your Euro 80 pretty much.
Well, I'm glad we did that because it's a tournament that has flown under the radar, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, we should do more football things once in a while. I enjoy it.
Yeah, maybe start a different podcast for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Start an actual football podcast.
Accidental football.
All right then, there we go. Thanks for listening for that one. We'll be starting something new next week. Don't know what it'll be yet, but tune in and find out. So goodbye.
All the best. God bless. Sleep well.